Hi everyone, Oh My Gioni here, and I'm back for another commentary video for Korean drama Run On episode 14. I'm so excited to talk about this episode. There's so many good stuff in this one, so let's go do this. So we're back to the two of them talking. Sungyum giving her a back hug, and he was crying, and Miju says, "Why are you crying? You're breaking my heart." Exactly. That's exactly what I feel. Sungyum is a person who's usually just passive, like just listens, and he just does what the other person asks of him. But this time, like, he's crying, and you can just see how much he loves Miju. Like, on the usual, he wouldn't care, but this time he's holding on to her so hard. Like, I don't want to lose you, is what he's basically saying. And in the scene after this, he even says, "I thought I might lose you forever." That's why he was crying so hard. Okay, this is out of topic, but this screenshot, like this place, for some reason reminds me of Voice first season, when like the serial killer has been going around. Like, this is like the kind of atmosphere, like the kind of place he usually attacks his victims. Oh my goodness. Flashbacks to like Voice. Oh, the serial killer in that one. Oh my goodness. And here they continued their conversation in the car, and Miju said, when she was talking about what happened to Subin, she says, "I was hoping I also had someone who would stand up for me like I did for Subin." And in the previous video, I said maybe May did the same thing for her. That's why she did that for Subin. But she says here, like, she wished somebody did it for her. So I guess it's not May. That's kind of sad. But I really appreciate her doing this for Subin. Just because, you know, like, we always wish we had this kind of person, but it's hard to be that person for someone else. And I really give my respect to Miju for standing up for Subin. She did a really good job. And now Subin, later on in the future, she might stand up for somebody else as well, just the way, and just like how Miju protected her and stood up for her. It's kind of like a pay it forward thing, even if you did not receive it, you know, like this good deed that you do now might help others in the future. I love how the conflict got resolved between them. It wasn't like flashy or anything like that. It's just two adults talking about their problems, thinking about what's wrong and what they can fix, and telling each other, you know what, we're gonna do this for next time. So please trust in me and we'll make it through. Miju even talks about like, oh, what if they disown you or something like that? And Sungyum says, what? That's too much. Because, you know, in other dramas, like, they do that. Like, the parent would be like, oh, I'm disowning you. You're not a part of the family. You're not getting any inheritance from us if you still keep seeing this girl, you know, and that causes lots of problems for the couple, but not for this one. And here, that legendary, "So why don't you come over for some ramen?" In Korean, "라면 먹고 갈래요?" You've probably heard this from other dramas or other movies as well, but it's basically like Netflix and chill. This is just so awkward, but I just want to appreciate how good looking these two are. I think I don't mention it a lot, probably never even mentioned it, just because there's so many good things about this drama that I forgot all about their looks. But goodness me, Shin Se-kyung, just beautiful. Im Si-wan looks just as good. They look so good together in this two-shot. Oh my gosh, just perfect. And then, you know, like, it's all awkward and they're kind of shy and like, what do we do and all that. But then they always get into deeper conversation. And here, Miju was asking Sungyum, like, who do you think is the person who would be with me forever? And Sungyum's like, is it me? And then Miju says, no, it's myself, which is true. You're always with yourself. You gotta accept who you are. You know, if you don't like yourself, then like, what can we do about that? You gotta at least like yourself. She says, not loving myself too much and not being too hard on myself, like finding that balance. This reminded me of a Korean variety show. It's called I Am a Man, 나는 남자다. It was hosted by Yoo Jae-seok, and there was one episode, I think it was an episode on employment, and all their guests were men that are trying to find a job, and it's just really hard to find a job in Korea. One of the guest hosts was Kim Jae-dong, and he gave this speech to all the guys in the audience. One thing that really stuck to me was when he said that we always ask people, like when we see each other, we're like, oh, how are you? Have you been well? But do you ask yourself that? Do you ask yourself, oh, how am I doing? Am I doing okay? Am I still fine? You know? And he says, we're too hard on ourselves. And the example that he gave was when your friend fails an exam, you tell them, you know what, you worked hard, you did your best, come, I will treat you for some meal, like let's eat, and it's on me, kind of thing. But when you fail the exam, you tell yourself, you know what, I saw this coming. When you rested for like 30 minutes, when instead of studying more, you took a 15-minute nap. Like, oh, we're really too hard on ourselves. But just like what Miju said, you're with yourself forever. That's the person who's going to be with you for the rest of your life. You got to treat yourself well. And she even says, for their relationship to work, Sungyum has to treat himself well, and Miju would have to treat herself well. And I think that's just beautiful. It's so simple, but it's always something that we forget to do. And Sungyum, cheeky Sungyum, he says, when like they were about to kiss, and Sungyum says, when are we going to eat ramyeon? And I'm like, oh. And Miju was like, oh. But he was just teasing, of course. Oh my gosh, that was so cute. It's just, wow, like, it's so natural the way they acted in this one, if they were actually acting. Oh, I really wish they're dating, but I mean, it's up to them. But they're just so cute together. And if you watch their behind the scenes footage, and like they have this commentary video, and they're just so cute. Like they would look at each other and it's just, oh my gosh, it's either they're dating or they're like super, super good actors. I mean, we know they act really well, but like that level of like so natural, seems like they actually like each other. I don't know. Perfect shot. The first time we saw this, it was funny, like Miju's door, but with this one, just perfect. Like, oh, it's like they were waiting for this moment to happen so they can use that door. I really love this scene. Back when Younghwa posted a picture of Dana in his Instagram, I thought, oh, did Dana know about this? He just randomly took a picture of her and posted it in his Instagram. I'm like, that's kind of iffy. But now it's been revealed that he actually got consent from Dana to take a picture of her. And that's just like my heart. Oh, and she's even like, take a good picture of me, okay? I love it. And I also love how after he reminisced about this, he was like, oh my goodness, I have to think about this inside because it's freezing out here. And I've always been wondering, it's winter, how are these guys standing outside? Like when Sungyum was waiting for Subin outside, he was there for a long time. And I'm like, that's super cold. I can't even stay outside for like 10 minutes looking like that. Like my jacket would be like zipped all the way up. I would have a scarf, I would have a toque on, I would have gloves, and it would still be cold. I'm glad that they're acknowledging how cold it is. And here we go again with Dad Like, I'm so done with him at this point. Now he's going after Sungyum's mom, like tattling about what Sungyum did, as if she can do anything about that. Like, it's not, I mean, it's still her business because she's the mom, but Sungyum's an adult. Like, he is responsible for the things that he does. Mom can't tell him, like, you shouldn't do this, shouldn't do that, you know? And it's so annoying how dad is so selfish. Everything is about him. You know, you guys have to do this, so I would get voted again. You have to have this kind of image so that the people will see me this kind of way. And like, Yukju, she's worked so hard to get to where she is now. And dad is just making her be, trying to make her the first lady. And then she's just gonna be his wife and not her own person. It's so annoying. But mom says, like, why is it that you treat my life like it's your prop? Like, I'm doing all these things to serve you, to serve your purpose. And like, it really hurts because in the previous episodes, when mom was talking to Sungyum and Sungyum asked, like, why did you marry dad? And she said, because I love him. And she still does. And it just hurts so much that dad is doing this. And he even asked, like, why did you get married? Why did you get a kid? Isn't it so that we would have this kind of image and all that? And I'm like, no, she married you because she loves you. Like, what the? Calm down. This whole candy scene, I love it. Perfect. Oh, it was so funny when Miju and Dana, like, at least their characters in the scenario, met for the first time. And we just like, why are you talking so casually to me? Like, how old are you? And Miju was like, I'm 8. And Dana says, I'm 7. It's just so funny. Because in the movie, it's probably they're all children, but she's imagining it the way she wants to, and she's a part of it. And then Sungyum comes in as Anthony. He was introduced as Anthony, and Miju laughed like, Anthony, and she thought it was a code name, but it's actually his real name, which is An Son Hui, and it sounds like Anthony, Anthony. Oh, it's so funny. And then that scenario got broken because Dana went to Miju's house, and so she was interrupted. But then their conversation that they were having after this, she was imagining it as if it was still a part of the Candy movie. And that's just so cool. Because, you know, when you watch or read something and then you do something else, that still lingers in your mind. And you still have that, like, feel, that vibe, that atmosphere. And, like, at least for me, like, I tend to, like, say, when you watch, like, a British film and they have this British accent, and then you find yourself having a British accent when you talk to someone after watching the movie. It's kind of like that. I find it really cool. This is a good addition. I also love, like, the small details that they added to the scene, because when Dana went to Miju before, she was asking for, like, a transparent glass so she can drink her whiskey. She was using the same glass this time around while Miju drank her soju. And, like, even though Miju says they're not close, they obviously already are. Like, just the way she kicked her and she didn't really mind it at all. That was cute. But for real, Dana in the next scene basically kidnaps Miju. Dana lives in a different world than all of us. She's just so funny, and she's serious about this too. Miju's like, how do I work? And she is so efficient. She brought Miju's laptop and the script she was reading. And this whole conversation with them, Dana saying, like, you shouldn't run away. I'm gonna break your arm, but you have to paint, so I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna break your leg. And he's like, oh, that sounds sweet of you, not breaking my arm so I could paint. And me just like, are you kidding me? She just threatened to like break your limb. Dude. This is kind of sad. She said that she was worried somebody was tailing her. She's using Miju as an excuse because she'd rather have them thinking that she's dating Miju than them thinking that she's dating Younghwa, like a young college student. Because like they still think that she's lesbian. But yeah, when you think about it, it's really hard for her as well because she has to keep up an image. She can't let her guard down. She can't enjoy things that normal people would enjoy because everything can be a weakness. And like people like Myungmin would take everything that he could just to bring her down. This part here is interesting as well. Sungyum is trying to look for a team who would take Ushik, but the lady was saying that they have an athlete who had a scandal as well, and they're trying to work that out. And it seems like if they take Ushik in, it's gonna change what the people think about their team. And just remind me of Stove League and how crazy it actually is, even when they're off season. All these like trading and scandals that happen inside the agency and the teams and just the shuffles and all that. Like that's super interesting. If you would like to know more about that, check out the Korean drama Stove League. Just beautiful. I didn't know anything about baseball when I watched that. I watched it in a whim, like for real. But ended up one of my favorites. It's super good, super engaging. Yeah, I totally recommend that one. And here too, Sungyum was talking about the difference in image in like how people would remember you as. And I love how the lady was also talking about how dad's, like Sungyum's dad's image is just picture perfect. You know, this is how they see him, but we all know he's not that kind of guy. And Sungyum was kind enough not to say anything, doing dad a favor, not ruining his image. And here, Sungyum got offered a job as an agent in Dana's agency to take care of their athletes. That would be awesome. I would really like to see that. Just like the lady said, Sungyum has a natural talent for this. He shouldn't waste it. And I think he's gonna do really well because Dana knows him, you know, he knows Yejun's mom. I feel like it's gonna work really well for all of them if he joins in. And Wushik would join in as well. That would be perfect. I would like to see that at the end of the drama. I love this scene because Younghwa was showing Dana his childhood. It's kind of their way of keeping up with each other. Dana doesn't know much about the peasant life, and he's showing her all these things, and I think that's very special. He's sharing a part of himself to her. I hope that later on Dana would share a part of herself to him as well, because she doesn't really open up to other people. Just like how I'm done with Sungyum's dad, I'm done with Myungmin as well. Like I seriously don't want to see this guy anymore. But it seems like he's the one tailing Dana because somebody's reporting to him like, oh, she stayed at this pretty girl's house. It's just so funny. Dana is actually really smart that she's going to Miju's house and like taking her along so that they would actually think she's dating Miju. And Myungmin is like fake as hell. Ah, he's so annoying. Like the way he stopped, like pretending he was running so that when dad sees him enter the room, he would think like, oh, he's rushing to get to me because he's worried, when he's not worried at all. At least Taewoong actually cared. I love how, if you notice, Taewoong keeps saying like, yo. like he would say something and then add yo at the end of his sentence. That's because he keeps using casual speech towards Myungmin when he's supposed to be using formal. And so adding the yo to his sentences makes it formal. But he says it, like he stops and then adds yo. And it's just so funny. Myungmin even says, like, can you just choose one? Like, are you going to use casual or formal speech to me? Because he goes back and forth. And there's a part here that says, when Myungmin was saying, like, Dana doesn't need to know, it's better to keep women in the dark. The Korean sentence for this was, 암탉이 울면 집안이 망하는 거야. It's a saying, it's literally, when the hen crows, the whole household is like done for, technically. So like when the female does something and the male is not doing anything, they're saying that the household is done for, technically. But he says 암탉이 울면, 암탉이 울면, which is if the hen cries or crows. I think Taeyong says, is she in someplace dark? But another way to translate it was, why is the hen crying? Why is the hen crowing? And Myungmin brought up the stocks. It seems like Taeyong also got shares in the company. And I think towards the end, when dad is not in a position to be the chairman anymore, they would probably choose another person to lead the company. And it's going to be between Myungmin and Dana. And it's a matter of shares, right? That's why Myungmin said, who do you think your stocks belong to? He's implying that Taeyong should give it to him. But I think Taeyong would give it to Dana later on, when Dana said before that when the time comes, be my little brother. And I can already see it, like Taeyong coming in like during the meeting and be like, I'm giving my socks to Dana. Yes! Oh, yay! I'm so happy. Okay, this shot is just beautiful. I paused the episode while I was watching and just stared at this. Like the sea and like how this was shot. It was like wide and like it's like the sea is coming to you. It almost feels like I can feel the wind and smell the ocean. It's just beautiful. Like I have to know where this place is so I can go visit this place next time. Oh, it's just beautiful. But I can just imagine how cold it is when they shot this. Beautiful conversation between Younghwa and Dana as well. I'm not gonna talk about them because all the lines were just beautiful, kind of self-explanatory. But there's this one when Dana said, "Younghwaya," and I watched this at like 6 a.m. and I was just screaming my head off. Oh, when like because she always calls him like 학생, which is like student. Oh, like kid, you know. And then all of a sudden he calls him Younghwaya. Oh, I'm surprised Younghwa didn't freak out. And here I just found it interesting. I think it's a really good move that they translated it this way. The subtitles had the lyrics for Rockabye Baby on a Treetop. You know, it's a lullaby that English speakers would know. But Younghwa was just saying "차자, 차자" the whole time, which is let's sleep, or like sleep, sleep, you know. I like it. This was so weird the first time I watched this. Dana was asking for a strand of hair. Like, girl, that's strange. But it made sense later on. She was trying to get a DNA check on him just to see if they are related. But turns out that they're not. But I totally understand why she would do that. She didn't know about Myungmin before. Myungmin's an illegitimate child. And then came Taeyong, like all of a sudden, like, what? I have another brother? So I won't be surprised that she's kind of paranoid that there's another sibling somewhere, you know, you never know. And Youngho might be one, so she's just checking. Funny how Miju is just creeped out the whole time. She's just standing there between them. And the funny thing is, Youngho actually gives her a strand of hair. Okay, I've been noticing this for a while now. And I mean, it's not wrong or anything. It actually makes sense because Dad's like assistant, like secretary guy, he's been using casual speech, banmal, to Sungyum and Unbi, which makes sense. Like he's so much older than them, but position-wise, he's the secretary of the dad, and they're his children. Like status-wise, I think they are higher. I mean, if they've known him for a long time, it would make sense why he's using like casual speech to them. But I don't like how he sounds. It sounds so condescending. Like, it's just annoying. It rubs me the wrong way. I really don't like it. If you notice, Jung Shiljang, he uses formal speech to everyone. I think he actually uses casual to Taeung, but he uses it in like a loving way, like very gentle. And but this guy, it's just so condescending every time he talks. It annoys me. I just noticed here that Sungyum still has Miju's name as 배고플 때 땅, like how he entered it before when they first met. Translates to shoot when you're hungry. He didn't change it. That's so Sungyum. I think for Miju it just says Ki Sungyum. Oh no, it seems like people have noticed, maybe somebody heard it, that Taeung is an illegitimate child to a chaebol, like these very rich people. And I'm so worried for Taeung. This would be a big scandal because their family is very well known. They're super rich. Everybody knows them. And he's an idol. Scandals in Korea, there's like all sorts of things. I mean, I wouldn't have, if I was a fan, I wouldn't have a problem with that. Him being like born out of wedlock. I mean, it's not his fault. If anyone was to blame, it's his parents. But I can already see people commenting like, oh, he's a bastard, like he should like be kicked out of the group, you know. And even Jung Shiljang says he liked being an idol though, because he knows once all of this is out in the open, people are gonna trash talk him big time, and he might have to stop being an idol. And that just breaks my heart. Like, he enjoys this so much. He loves his fans, you know. And I thought that Taeung would be super worried. I mean, he probably is. But the first thing he does was call Dana and let her know what's going on. Because he's worried about her. When really, he should be worrying about himself. And I just love Taeung. I hope there's like a good ending for Taeung. And that, I hate Myungmin so much. Like, why is Myungmin not sick? I'm so mad. I mean, I shouldn't be wishing bad on other people, but Myungmin, goodness me, why is he not sick? Okay, I understand now where mom is coming from. She is worried about Ye-chan not being able to make it to college. And I mean, I get it. It's very important to get that education. But I also believe that it's important for the child to do the thing that she loves, you know. Not everything that you could learn in life, you would learn in class. So many other things, like the life lessons, you learn it outside of the classroom. And sports would be something that would teach you so much. And I mean, it's hard. Like, I'm not a parent, so I probably don't know exactly what she's feeling. But I feel like if she supports Ye-chan with her boxing, she would do well in school as well. Because now she won't be stressing about, oh, mom's going to find out. Oh, mom's going to know I'm doing boxing. And she can actually focus in her studies and boxing. I feel like we keep forgetting that. The kid, like their emotion, they should be in a very good condition to study. If they're stressed, if they're not happy, nothing's gonna go in here. Like, it's just not gonna work. I've seen it so many times. Poor Dana. She's sick. She collapsed while running, and all she could think of was, please hide my face. Nobody should know about this, because she's keeping this image, right? If people know she's sick, that's gonna be a weakness again. And people are gonna use it to try to bring her down. And that's the thing, right? Like, people who are rich, we always think that they're having the time of their lives. They have everything, kind of thing. But when you really think about it, they have it harder than us. I feel like we can actually have fun and they can't. Even when they're looking like they're having fun, they're not really having fun. Oh, I feel exactly the same way Sungyum was feeling here. Whenever he talks to dad, it's like talking to a wall, except this wall talks back. And like, just can't get through this guy. Goodness me. Everything is about me, just being selfish, not listening to anyone. I'm like, exactly this emotion in his face. Like, I'm done with this. I'm so done with that. Him and Myungmin can just, I don't care. Actually, I would care how it ends for them. I want them to suffer alone with nobody beside them. I love this scene with Miju running, trying to finish the race. To be honest, if it was me, I would have quit long ago. But she was thinking back to all like these lines by Sungyum. And the one I have here in the screenshot. You can slow down if you're struggling. Just don't give up. You can do that as an adult, right? Just hit so hard. I'm an adult, but I give up so many times when I shouldn't be giving up. This scene reminds me of a song by Day6. It's called Marathon. If you haven't listened to it, you don't know Day6, please look them up. They're a really good band. They make their own music. And this song is a song that if it's a person, I would marry it. It's called Marathon. It's about life, and like this, when you're struggling, you know what? You can slow down. It's a marathon. It's not a 100-meter dash. You don't have to rush to it. No, take it easy, in your own pace. If it's hard, you can slow down. You can take a break. And yeah, just a very beautiful song. Give it a listen. It's called Marathon by Day6. And we finally see a little bit of flashback for Miju. Saw her when she was younger, doing all these part-time jobs, studying while working, all these things. And one scene in particular that really hits hard was when she apparently beat up someone, assaulted another kid. It's really frustrating that the teacher was getting mad at her for beating up the other kid, when you can see she got beat up too. How is it that she's only talking to Miju and not the other kid, when obviously the other kid did something wrong as well? Is it because she has a parent with her and Miju doesn't? That's just frustrating. And now you understand more why Miju was saying the things she did before. It's hard when you know you didn't do anything wrong, and you're just struggling by yourself and no one was there to protect you or just to take your side. And then it segues to her in a movie theater crying. She mentioned before that she feels safe when she's in a movie theater because it's dark and it feels like it kind of just embraces her. She feels safe. That's probably why, because when she was younger, she would go to the movies and just cry there in the darkness because she didn't have anyone. And maybe that's why she was watching foreign films as well, because she didn't understand the language and she could just sit there and cry and not really caring. But I'm so happy that that sad part of her life, like watching movies in a movie theater just so she could cry, has now become a good part in her life. She's become a translator, a job that she really loves to do and that she excels at. And then Sungyeom waited for her until she finished the race. It's just so beautiful. Miju was saying, that's so mean of them. They didn't even wait for me. I wasn't done yet. And then Sungyeom said, but I waited. I waited until I could see you. That's kind of like a throwback to when they were running together the first time. She was, Sungyeom was showing her how to do running, because Sungyeom said that, oh, just follow your own pace. You can slow down, you can go fast, whichever way. And then Miju said, but what if you're ahead of me and then you're running so far ahead that I can't see you? And Sungyeom said, well, then I would wait for you until I see you. And this is it. He actually waited. Oh, I'm gonna cry. Oh, he actually waited for her when nobody else did. And it's just so beautiful how they showed Miju with her uniform on and Sungyeom with the hospital gown. That was the first time he said he ran, because he was running away from everything else. And the two of them meeting, like this visual of their younger selves, you know, like during that time they were probably looking for a person who would wait for them, who would meet them at the finish line, you know, and they never found that person, but now they did. And that's just so beautiful. Oh, you guys, I just love this show so much. It's crazy. Okay, before I say my final comments about this episode, I would like to do learn a Korean sentence portion. I didn't do it last episode just because I didn't find like a line that I wanted to do. But this time, there's this in the beginning of the episode when Miju was hugging Sungyeom and she said, go ahead and cry. Cry all you want. In Korean, it was 울어요. 마음껏 울어요. So, 울다 is cry. 울어요, cry. 마음 is like heart or mind. And if you add 컷 to it, 마음껏, as much as you want, to your heart's content is what it means. And then it says 울어요 again at the end. 울어요. 마음껏 울어요. Cry. Cry to your heart's content. Cry all you want. It's something that you can tell a friend who's struggling. You can say 울어요. 마음껏 울어요. And so yeah, this episode, I love it so much. There's so many different things in it. Comedy, something that's heartwarming, something that made you realize, a life lesson. It's just beautiful overall. That last scene still is making me a little bit teary. Oh, it's so cute. But the thing is, I'm so sad because we're so close to the finale. We have 2 episodes left. It's gonna be this week. And I don't know what to feel. Like, I don't want it to end. But I want to see how it turns out for everyone. I hope it's a happy ending. But you know what? I trust this writer. This writer has given us so many beautiful things throughout its run. Run. But yeah, I don't know. I'd probably talk about it when I do like the last 2 episodes commentary. I'm gonna do it for next week. But yeah, thanks to you who are watching this right now. I really appreciate it. Let me know what you think about episode 14. What are you feeling right now that we're so close to the end? Let me know in the comments. Like the video if you like this kind of content, and subscribe because I'm gonna do more of this in the future. Yeah, I hope you guys like this and stay safe. Have an awesome day. Bye bye.